all we came to be happy again.
Hey, vinyl community, Elliot here, Lazy Dogs Records. And these tags are great that we've got going this year, here 4 or 5 months into 2021. There's been the jazz tag, the country tag, and now we've got a blues tag. So I want to do the blues tag. And there's 20 questions. I think there's only one I wasn't able to complete, or 20 prompts. One I wasn't able to do. But let's see what we got. So number one was show an electric blues album. I'll show this one, Buddy Guy, and this is The Blues is Alive and Well, 2-record set. He signed that. I didn't get him to sign it though. I got a great opportunity to go see him perform in 2019, and went to the merch table during intermission. And you couldn't buy a sealed copy. You had to buy them open, but the deal was they had been signed by Buddy Guy. So that's what I did. That's what I got. Okay, really good album, by the way. And then number two, show an acoustic album, Etta Baker, Railroad Bill, on Blues Foundation label. And Etta Baker, one of the great, she's passed on now, but this is a pressing from 2015, Railroad Bill, and just a great, beautiful, beautiful guitar player. 3 is a live album, and this is uniquely live. John Hammond solo. Of course, he is junior. He is the son of the man that did so much to promote jazz and blues and other music in to the mainstream. This is a 1976 Vanguard Records album from John Hammond, and it is recorded live in the Vanguard studio. So there was an audience there, I'm assuming, either that or they just turned the mic on and he sat down and started playing. So there's my live album. There's some other live albums in here too that could also count. A gatefold or a double album. I love it when they do the 2-record special value sets. How about that one right there? I've had this album a long, long time. John Lee Hooker, and the best of John Lee Hooker, and it's got, as it says, 2 albums on. Nothing special about the inside here, but it's got most of. It's got Boom Boom Boom, Crawling King State, Drugstore Woman, Dimples is on here. Boogie Chillin', really good John Lee Hooker album, as my gatefold or double, and it did both. It was both. Okay. Oldest, in this case we're talking, I guess, about oldest recordings, and I mean, I didn't go date by date for everything, but I thought this would be one of the older ones from the 1920s. I don't think it was even getting into the 30s yet, but Bessie Smith, those blues vocalists, female blues vocalists that were out there performing, and they would play with the swing band, some members of some of the swing or jazz bands, small little 2 or 3 piece sets, clarinets, oftentimes things like that. But some good stuff there from Miss Bessie Smith. That's called The Empress. It was a 1971 issue of Bessie Smith's 78. And newest in that I just bought this when I went to the record show Sunday. Not new that it's a new record. Blind Lemon Jefferson. And this is on Milestone. It's volume 2, a second collection of classic folk blues of a legendary singer-guitarist. Okay. And 45. Okay. My 45 is an RRG label, Jimmy Reed. And on one side is Crying Blind. And on the other side, it's a Christmas song. Christmas Present Blues. Christmas Present Blues. And then 10-inch. I don't really have any 10-inch records, EPs, I guess you would call them. I do, other than 78s. I've got some 78s. And so I'll just share this one. This is maybe stretching it a little bit. Fats Waller, kind of jazz, kind of blues, kind of boogie. I don't know exactly, it's one of those artists that it kind of can go in several categories. This is on Bluebird and Your Socks Don't Match by Fats Waller and his rhythm. And on the other side is Up Jumped You Would Love. Okay, 78. And then a Chess Records album, a 2-record compilation of, it's called Chicago Blues Anthology. Okay. And obviously it's on Chess. Let's see. This white label, this may be a promo. I shouldn't tell this, but I think this was sitting at the studio of the campus station where I worked at Appalachian State University. I had a little country show on there and did a lot of other things at the radio station. And it sat there the whole time I was at Appalachian. I would see it, and nobody ever even came close to touching it. And I believe I carried that home with me when I graduated. I think I did. I hope I told somebody, look, this is sitting here, I'm going to take it, okay? Anybody have a problem with that? I hope I said that, so I hope I didn't just, take off with it. Delmark. I have some Delmark, but it's all in CD, and the CDs are all in boxes, and I'd just be going, looking for that. So I don't have a Delmark. Alligator Records. Okay. Love Alligator out of Chicago. Delbert McClinton, live from Austin, Texas. Or actually, yes, live from Austin, yes. Genuine house rockin' music from Alligator Records. And I think it's an Austin City Limits, actually, performance there. Okay, and let's see what we've got next. A small independent label. Small independent label. How about from the D.C. area, the Nighthawks. This was called Rock and Roll, but it is definitely a blues rock album from the Nighthawks, and it's on Aladdin Records from 1974. The Nighthawks, one great blues rock band. And let's see, a regional style. Well, the Delta blues, when we talk about acoustic blues, what we hear most often is the Delta blues. But in the Carolinas and Georgia, down into Florida, up in Virginia, the eastern seaboard area, they played a little different style of blues. They played a ragtimey blues they called the Piedmont Blues. Blind Boy Fuller. Nobody played the Piedmont Blues better than Blind Boy. Reverend Gary Davis and Blind Boy. Sonny Terry's actually on some of this. Bull City Red. And it's got Careless Love on it. It's got I'm a Rattlesnake and Daddy. And it's got Step It Up and Go. Yes, I had to really look hard to find anything from Blind Boy that had Step It Up and Go. His most famous song, I believe, but a lot of the compilations you find don't actually have that. I don't know, maybe it's something about the copyright or something. Somebody controls it or something. Okay. Psych Blues. Okay, I had to really think about this one. I had some suggestions from people, but I tried to go to a newer artist. How about the Marcus King Band, Soul Insight? They call themselves a psychedelic soul blues rock band, lack of a better term. And this is their first album, actually. And it's from 2015 on Evil Teen Records. And let's see, it's produced by Marcus King. I think his second and third albums were produced by, one was produced by Derek Trucks, I believe, and one was produced by Warren Haynes. I may be wrong about that, but they each had something to do with his career, getting him started. But I'd call that psych blues. Okay, British. Now, I bet you I got one most people didn't show or won't show. but they could play some blues rock. I'd say Foghat. How about that? Yes, sir. From 1972 on Bearsville Records, the self-titled album. Lonesome Dave doing vocals and guitar. Red Price guitar and slide. Terry Stevens on bass. And Roger Earl on the drums. And Scott, I Want to Make Love to You. And let's see. They do Maybelline on here. A good album. And I bet you Todd Rundgren produced this, did he? Or no, was it, yeah, Dave Edmonds. Dave Edmonds produced this on Bearsville. Todd Rundgren produced a lot of people. And so that was British King. All right, let's go with Freddie King. There we go. There's a good Freddie King album. This is Let's Hide Away and Dance Away with Freddie King. Strictly instrumental. He does, as you can imagine, Hide Away on here, Sidetrack, Wash Out, Heads Up, Just Picking, Stumble, Butterscotch. And this is on King Records. I bought this sealed. It's a reissue, obviously. Don't know exactly what year they pressed them. But, you know, King Records out of Cincinnati did a lot of bluegrass, did a lot of blues, did all kinds of good stuff on that label. Okay, here's the one I can't do. So there's two I can't do. I don't have any colored vinyl in the blues genre. Don't have a bit. Just none. Okay. Recommendation. Record that somebody recommended to you. Okay, I'm going to go way back into my early teens. Living in this small little town, and we were on our bicycles riding on over all around. Our parents would kind of let us roam a lot, and it's so great to have an older brother and his friends, and they were, you know, we were like 14 or 15, and they were 18, 17, 18, 19 years old, and they were nice enough that they let, you know, how people would park their car in a parking lot and everybody would gather around and just hang out, you know. I guess people do that all over, not just small towns. I imagine in big cities they do the same thing. But we, you know, I remember going up and Larry Junkins, what a great guy. Larry passed away many years ago from cancer. But Larry, big heavy-set red-haired guy. He was a little bit older than my brother. My brother was probably 17, and he was like 19 or so. And he let us, we left our bikes there at the school parking lot, I believe is where it was one night. And he let us ride in his car, ride around, and we rode out to his house. And he lived out in the country there. And they were drinking beer, and they might have let us have a sip or two, you know, but nothing, you know, they didn't, you know, give us a bunch of beer or anything like that. But, you know, they just kind of let us hang out with them for a little while, which was all, they must have been bored to death, right? But they were just nice old guys, you know, our brothers, friends. And so we got to hang out with the older guys a little bit, and they had a nice stereo. And they played great music. And that's where we learned so much about music, was from those guys a little bit older than us playing stuff for us. And I can remember distinctly, Larry put on Roy Buchanan. Never heard of him, didn't know anything about Roy Buchanan. He told us all about him. He played us this album, and I appreciate it, Larry. Thank you so much. And I'm running out of steam on my battery, it appears. So let's make this quick. Great find discovery. Not that they're not pretty well known, but Larkin Poe. When I found out about Larkin Poe, I was so thrilled. The sister team, guitar and lap steel, playing some great blues. This is Self-Made Man from 2020 on their own label, Trick Woo Records. And finally, first blues album you ever bought. It was between several, because, you know, we didn't have much money, so I was buying the lower priced records. So, you know, you'd find those records on the off labels and stuff. sometimes in the drugstore and stuff. And it was either a Sonny Terry Browning McGee or this one on the Tradition label, that Everest label that reissued so much great blues and jazz and stuff. Lightning Hopkins, Lightning Strikes. This is that copy. And I've had it since the mid 70s, I guess, maybe late 70s. But I think this is at least one of my first blues albums I ever bought. Okay, so that's my addition to Blues Vinyl Tag 2021. Great fun doing it. Everybody remember, be kind to your neighbors, because we're all neighbors.